a posh five-star hotel in Dubai, and we were discussing whether I would be keen to join this project, or they would be interested in hiring me for the key position. While we're discussing, I observed Gordon is has got an illustrious career, and he was the vice president for Foster Wheeler, one of the great engineering companies. And being an American, he was a little bit forthright and transparent. And at the end of our discussion, he was more than happy to offer the job to me. And I was trying to explain one project which I worked. I was the head of the process, where we encountered some difficulties, and the project had to be abandoned. To his credit, Gordon has overruled my apprehensions, and he said, "Yeah, I want a person who has seen the difficulties of running a project." It seems he knew the project head where I worked, another project which was not successful as for me. He said, "I know Campbell. Campbell told me that you have done your project well, completed your process part, but due to the financial implications, the project had to be shelved. So I don't hold you responsible for that." With that kind words, he has made up his mind and offered me the job. And he called the HR executive and said, "Hey, he is the best. Let's take him." And that's where the story starts. The HR executive, who is a typical Indian, and he did not understand why a staff before recruitment has to be praised and apprised the best. I now recall an interview with Steve Jobs. Probably some of you must have seen in these WhatsApp stories. So Steve Jobs liked the candidate, and he was supposed to be heading the iPhone project on a technical ground. And once he made up his mind, he asked this gentleman, "Hey, pretend as if you are not hired. Let all the executives at Apple talk to you and interview. Answer them. But I know I made up my mind, I have to recruit you." Now, he disclosed it recently. It exactly reminds me the feeling which I had when Gordon recruited me. He already made up my mind. And then the negotiation started with HR, and then HR wanted to offer me as less as possible the remuneration. And one of the complaints, which of course now make me little bit, looks like to me a funny incident. He says, "Raj, how can you expect this project director to be totally transparent with you?" Then Gordon got a doubt, and he asked me, "Raj, what is the problem?" He said, explained to Gordon, that transparency is not a great asset in India, especially in the corporate sectors. If you are the best, probably no boss in India would say that you are the best. His apprehension is that probably you may demand a little bit more salary. He said, "That is ridiculous. If you're good, I'll hire you. If you're not good, I can fire you." So I told Gordon, you don't have a choice to fire a senior person in India. So once you take him, then you got to keep him. The minute you fire a senior person, there will be repercussions in all the corporation from top to bottom, and they won't trust a company who fires their people very frequently. So Gordon was surprised. "Is that the Indian style?" I said, "It's not in the style, it's the Indian tradition." So what happens when a person, doesn't perform well? That was the question which Gordon asked me. I said, "It's your problem. Hire and fire policy doesn't exist in India. Especially, even leaders, political leaders, they have been tolerated. Probably it is a tradition of 1,000 years of foreign rule, where they have tolerated foreigners as the rulers. The same way, they may not like you, they may bicker in the back, but your job is secure. And that's what exactly I did a mistake, telling Gordon uh, that his job is secure. Well, as you go in the chapter, then you will see in the end of the before end of the project, Gordon had to leave. One of the reasons why he could not continue or he was fired is that he told the truth to the owners that the project doesn't have enough resources and probably the schedule which we have given the project completion is not realistic, and the management did not like the forthrightness of the director, and it had implications on financial institutions. Probably they would not extend the loans, or it may have effect on the morale of the employees, or maybe the positive attitude of the staff and contractors. Whatever the reason, the Gordon could not continue the project as the director, though I was the head of the process, could continue the project, and then we have gone through the difficulties of the project. And then I'm sure you would like the chapter 7 in my book, Successful Management Styles of India, where I have given the positive aspects of the business house, wherein they have used innovative techniques to complete the project at half the cost of what would have been in the cost in elsewhere in the world. So, to the credit to the business house, the project cost was controlled, and to the discredit to the company and the project team, including me, is that the project is delayed. But however, this is the style which the management or the owners of this business house have done. So it is not uncommon in India, the government sector, the 5-year plans are extended instead of 5 to a decade. Some of the projects are shelved. Some of the projects are run beyond their budget. Like we discussed in the chapter 2 about the wedding management, where budget is not at all fixed for a wedding in a rich family in India. And sometimes the bride's father becomes broke financially, or the bridegroom's parents would be annoyed with the facilities and arrangements. Whatever it is, that is the big fat Indian wedding is the style, and the projects are also very ambitious. Sometimes they achieve it, sometimes they don't achieve it. How they achieved, how they're successful is the subject of my book, Successful Management Styles of India. For every one successful manager, there are 10 who are complaining about the country, about the employees, about the technology, about the lack of resources, and the name of the game is blame. And what I say is that the people who are not successful, they can blame the whole world, but they should start blaming themselves first for not being successful. So a positive attitude for a successful management starts stopping to blame others and start taking responsibility for success. Thank you very much. This is an introduction to a 7th chapter, management in a large family-run business house, which gives a glimpse of the management style in India. And please read my book, Successful Management Styles of India, Volume 1, What is Different? And I would say everything is different and everybody is unique, and one has to learn in his life to be successful. And I hope you all will be successful. Thank you very much. Author Rajsekar Polapeda. Thank you. Post